Solar flash update, October 7th, October 2nd, sorry, October 2nd, 2024. So, are you ready for this solar flash to finally get here? We're coming for you very soon, they say. Everyone will see it coming. Have no fear. What is the event actually going to be? And are you ready? Question your reality and then change it. ThunderWizard.com is the website that supports this channel. You know all about that. You can check out my books at michaelwilliamdenny.com, but all of that might be completely unnecessary. So I am just here to tell you the feelings and the energy and the message that I am getting today, which is I am becoming more and more convinced that this solar flash event is a real thing and that it is going to be here very soon. We just had an eclipse, a solar eclipse earlier today. We did a live meditation. And then afterwards I had to take a nap because it was, kind of an intense energy for me. And I sometimes like to take naps. So I took a nap and then I woke up, and I usually don't feel good after naps emotionally. I don't know why that is, but it's just what happens. And this was no different. I woke up feeling kind of cranky. And then, I don't know when exactly it started, but I started getting hit with very powerful energies and closed my eyes and would say, I'm here. What have you got to tell me? And the message that I was getting was that this solar flash is coming very soon. That it's time to just let go and be ready for the change that is going to come. And, if you want to go and take a look at the video that I did about this solar eclipse that we just experienced. Not the live meditation, of course you can look at that and do that as well, but I made a video about the Vedic astrological significance of this. And anyway, I really think that it's all over. I think that the 3D that we've known is all over. It's all done. I was just watching clicking on InfoWars because I like to hear about all the stuff that I thought was nonsense before about, what the dark forces are doing. And, that guy was saying that just before he came on to do the live stream, he got hit with this feeling that it's all over and that they've won. And they've won against the powers that be. I thought, wow, I'm not the only one that's getting this. So maybe you're listening to this and you've got this feeling. So perhaps you're feeling a lot of anxiety. You're feeling like maybe your heart is racing, or you feel like you're having some kind of an anxiety attack. Stop and breathe. Relax into it and see if it doesn't turn into something different. See if when you relax into it, it doesn't become something even more beautiful, more orgasmic. Maybe you have had the direct feeling, or maybe even the direct communication that it's over, that it's coming. I know that people I've spoken with who are doing the same kind of meditations that we do on this channel, are saying that they've been told for a while that, you don't have to worry about it, whatever it is. The job, place to live, the future, money, don't worry about it. We're coming to the end of all that. I don't know what the actual event is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be the same for everybody. I do believe that everybody will experience it. I don't know if it will have the same long-term effect on everybody. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've heard the things that I think I've been shown, but I still don't know. Because if I'm being honest, when I get the kinds of messages I was getting today, messages like we're coming for you very soon. I don't know what that means. When was it? I don't know, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, I got the message. Your work on this planet has come to an end. Now, I thought that meant that I was gonna go, but what I came to find out that meant was that, the karma that I have, my job has been my whole life up until this point. My job has been to be the guy that says, listen, only you can save you. You have got to do the work to heal yourself. You've got to be willing to do whatever it takes to heal and to grow and to awaken. You can't expect anything or anybody else to do it. You've got to do the work. And that's been, my message my whole life, and the feeling I got was, you've done that enough. It's time to stop. You don't need to do that anymore. Your work on this planet has come to an end. And then 2 months ago, the message I got was, your time on this planet. So not the work has come to an end, your time on this planet has come to an end. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And I didn't try and figure it out. I'm still here, so obviously it didn't mean that I was going to, disappear right afterwards, but I think that message was getting me prepared for what is coming. And I think it's possible that there is going to be a singular event coming very soon, perhaps within days. And so I'm going to make some predictions about what might happen. Not predictions, I'm going to go through the possibilities of what might happen. So I think one very real possibility is that people will be literally taken out of this world, like a rapture type of event, where there will be this flash, and when the flash is gone, people who are still here, two people will be there, one person will be gone, one will be left. That kind of thing. I want to be clear, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not making a prediction. I'm saying that is a possibility. Again, going back to what I was told in 2022, when I first started communicating with extraterrestrials, and I had that dream, that shamanic dream, where there was an event that was seen in the sky that people will interpret as God coming. It'll be a very spiritual, if they're religious, it'll be a religious event. They'll think it's Jesus coming or God or whomever, whatever their religion teaches. And then what will happen is then people will realize very quickly that, oh, this is this is much bigger than my religion. My religion was just a symbolic way for me to understand this, which is much bigger and different. And so all of the dogma of religion will get destroyed, and people will just realize that they are connected to spirit, that they themselves are aspects of God, and that we are all connected, and all that mystical stuff. That this will be an event that people will have that experience, or at least some people will. So I think I'm getting my stories mixed up. So I saw that dream, and then, as you know, I've said it a million times, I asked them, what is this event going to be? Thinking that the only thing I could have imagined is people having the same kind of experience that I was, because I was communicating with extraterrestrials. I thought, well, then a bunch of spaceships are going to appear all over the planet, and then everybody will have the same experience I am. And so I said, what is this event going to be? Is it going to be, fleets of spaceships? And they said, no. The event is going to be a series of solar waves of love that are going to hit the earth. Now, they didn't tell me there would be a final event. They didn't say that. They only talked about a series of solar waves in that communication. Probably because I couldn't have, they're telling me what I can hear, or my brain is filtering out what it can't understand or what frightens it. That's part of what happens, unfortunately. I'm working on that. And then the story started expanding and getting larger and larger. And so then I started to hear about other theories of this, where the Flash is going to create multiple Earths. And so there will be different frequencies of Earth depending on where people want to be emotionally and psychologically and spiritually. They will gravitate towards the frequency that they're thinking at. And I was told, and I didn't like that, and then somebody mentioned there might be 3 different frequencies. I'm not a musician, but I use the word 3 harmonics, and somebody said, no, it's a whatever. They had some other musical word for it, but it's the same note in 3 different, bing, bing, bing. 3 different frequencies, higher frequencies of the same note. And I asked about that in meditation, and I said, what is that? And the being said, well, what happens when light hits hits moisture? Actually, it was the earth. It was light hitting the earth. What happens when light hits the earth? And then you see the colors of the rainbow, and each one of them are different frequencies, but it's coming from the same light. So it's one earth that's going to be split into different frequencies. And so those are the possibilities that are coming. Numerous times the messages have come to me saying, we're coming for you, you'll be taken out of this world, messages like that. Again, my brain is interpreting the telepathic messages and the energy, and it's translating it into third dimensional English, and in my vocabulary. So I could be getting some things wrong, or not getting an exact translation. But those have been very challenging messages, that I'm going to be taken out of this world. The messages today were, when the light hits, I'm going to sort of like unzip out of this unzip out of this 3D meat suit, and then I'm just going to expand like a big giant ball of light, and I'll turn into something completely different. And I won't lie to you, that's a frightening thought. I like the idea of having a physical body. I like the idea of shifting up and having like this perfect body where I don't gain weight and I'm younger and, don't have to go to the gym 6 days a week to have a perfect chiseled physique and be able to surf. I like that idea, but that's not the feelings that I get. The feelings I get is it's a complete, total liberation into an awareness I can't even comprehend of, but pure bliss and light and, merging with my true deity self, expanding into the deity that I am. And, that's another message that I've gotten. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know what is literal, whether that's a feeling or whether that's literal, because sometimes I've been told things that turned out to be literally true, but not in the way that I expected it. One of the other most recent, this was maybe even yesterday, message I got was, you're going to be asked to leave your home. Now, my first thought was, what, I'm going to be asked to leave the house I'm renting? And I seriously doubt that. I just, the landlord and I have a really good relationship, and, he's very interested in me renting this house, so that doesn't make any sense. The only thing that does make sense, assuming that was an accurate translation of a real message, because it's possible that I made that up in my head, but assuming that I didn't, then that would be a very non-threatening way of saying you're going to be leaving this planet. So all of those things are things that I'm very seriously thinking about. At the same time, I've also made the decision not to worry about any of it. Because I remember when I was 7, I had an out-of-body experience. I was dreaming. I was asleep. I wasn't dreaming. I was asleep, and then the next thing I knew, I was actually being pulled out of my body up through the atmosphere, just like doing a CE5, except, my entire consciousness was fully, it wasn't like it was in my mind. It was like I was fully experiencing it. And I was coming up through the Earth's atmosphere, hearing all of the, the chatter and the self-talk of people. And then I came through Earth's atmosphere and it got very quiet. Then there was a bright light off in the distance, and I was pulled towards that, and then that light surrounded me, and then my experience of having a body completely disappeared, and there was this orgasmic explosion of bliss. And it at first felt like too much, like it was too much, and then my body just completely like exploded and disappeared, and then I just became this big smile, as I said in my 7-year-old parlance. I just became a huge smile, and I was happy, and I knew that I was home, and I kept on saying, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. And then it receded, and I started coming back down into Earth, and I was very upset. I was saying, no, 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 I don't want to leave, I don't want to leave. And then next thing I knew, it dropping back into the atmosphere, and then boom, I was back in my body, and I woke up. And I mention that because that wasn't something I had to be prepared for, which is has been a fear of mine. Like, well, what if I'm not prepared? What if I'm not in the right mindset? Is it going to pass me by? Am I going to get stuck into a lower version? And, so I'm just going to trust whatever's going to happen will be just like that experience. I will just get pulled into the light in whatever form that is, and I will be home. And I say that, even as I say that, the first thought is, well, I don't know if that's true or not, which is true. I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm preparing myself for that not to be the case. But my unconscious mind seems pretty convinced that this is coming. And we've talked about how we've come to the end of this 26,000 year cycle, right? That we've gone through the yugas. We've gone all the way through Kali Yuga. We're coming out the other side. We're actually in Dwapara Yuga, the ascending cycle. So we're going from the worst time where you're the furthest away from consciousness, and we're moving towards consciousness, and we're directly opposite the Younger Dryas disaster that wiped out almost all the people and wiped out all of the civilization and wiped out a lot of the animals right after, as a result of this cataclysm that just flash melted all of the ice caps and created, we're talking ice caps, the whole northern hemisphere, North America, Europe, North Pole, Siberia, Alaska. It was just covered with ice sheets up to 2 miles thick, and they were just vaporized. So, and that wouldn't mean as much to me if I hadn't been told in no uncertain terms that event happened as a result of me, because I was the king of Earth at that time, the Earth civilization. There was a worldwide, highly advanced Earth civilization. I think along with other humans, like there were other, more tribal hunter-gatherer humans, and apparently there was also, some extraterrestrials involved, and perhaps I was one of those, what people would call a hybrid, but not in a negative way. And so anyway, but because I was using spiritual technology like the pyramids and other such technologies that are still haven't been completely discovered yet, but are in and on this earth. I was using them to keep the frequency at the Satya Yuga level, and I broke it, and the world came crashing down, and I was abusing that power. And I wouldn't believe that if I had just gotten that message, I would have gone, oh, that's interesting, except that I went through this period of emotional memory awakening, like my not just my body, but my soul remembered it. I can't see it. I don't remember all the details, but I know that it happened. I've never been more sure of anything in my life that is definitely something that happened, and I was that king that is responsible for that. And so if it weren't for that, I don't know how strongly I would be believing the messages that I'm getting now. Because that awareness, when I became aware of that karma, and that I finally was able to, apparently I was able to finally experience that and have some healthy sadness and mourning over that and letting it go. I've since let it go, which would mean that I've paid off the karma for that debt. So I've been paying off that karma for, 13,000 years or whatever it is. And now that I have that, there's really nothing that I feel I need to be here on this planet for. And I don't I don't think that there's anything really left for me to accomplish. I combine that with what we've been doing in the live guided interdimensional meditations. If you're new to the channel and you've never seen that, you can go to the live section on this channel and you can see these, these live guided interdimensional meditation, and you can do them. If you haven't done them, you can do them. But I've come to believe that when we have done those, especially up till August 14th, everything changed after August 14th, but up until that point, the meditations that we were doing, we were actually creating the solar flash event, and we were destroying the third dimension. And we were fighting directly with that energy. We were fighting against the dark forces. And we have defeated them simply by doing those meditations. I won't get into all the reasons why I believe that, but I believe that on a level much deeper than my brain. My brain doesn't really believe much of any of it because it's not, third dimensional stuff. But I believe that, and I believe, as I said, that I was that king. It doesn't flip me out the thought that I was the king of that civilization. Take a look at, you can find it if you search for it, Google it, or on YouTube, something called the Richat structure, RICHAT structure. And what I believe, long story short, is if you look at that, you can only really see it from space. Like if you look at it from orbiting Earth, you'll see this structure. Yeah, and if you look at it, it actually looks exactly like the Eye of Horus. And according to the philosopher Plato, the rulers of the city of Atlantis actually are the founders of the Egyptian dynasty. So the ancient Egyptians will say that they came from, or that their civilization was given to them by the people of Atlantis. And so what I find interesting about that is that when you look at the Richat structure, it actually has the exact specifications of the city of Atlantis according to Plato. I mean, the exact circumference and how big it is, everything is there, except that there's no water there anymore. Now it's in the middle of the Sahara Desert. But when the 2-mile ice sheets were on top of the land mass, the land mass was pushed down. And when those 2-mile thick ice sheets were taken off of the planet, a lot of the land rose up, as well as, of course, the oceans went in and pushed down islands because the weight of it. In other words, the floor of the ocean was up here, and then all of that extra water comes in, the floor of the ocean pushed down. So there was a lot of changes in the structure of the earth and in the, where the oceans were. And the bottom line of that is that if you take that portion of West African desert and drop it down about 1,000 feet, it would be at sea level. So I believe that's what was going on. And the reason for that is I think that eye, when you look at it, it looks like an eye. And as I said, it looks exactly like the Eye of Horus. My feeling is that that's really what it was, that the ruler who lived in the middle, the Irish, the iris of the eye, the middle of Atlantis in there. Again, go look at the structure. I don't have a picture of it here to show you. I believe that I was living on that island in the middle of that structure, surrounded by water, and I believe that I had the ability, sort of like in Lord of the Rings when they have those seer stones. I think I had the ability to spiritually see into all of the realms and the energetic structures like the pyramids and other things. It could be used to be able to energetically see and feel and monitor the whole planet. And I believe that's the reason why Atlantis was destroyed, because I was abusing that power. Albeit I had good intentions, but nevertheless I was abusing that power. And I believe that. I don't believe it because it makes sense. I don't believe it because it's a boost to my ego. I believe it because of the messages that I've received and the way that I awoke on a deep spiritual level to the reality of that karma. I've never experienced anything like that. And I believe that that was the last thing that was left in my awakening that was keeping me here on earth. And I believe that everything that I've come onto this planet to accomplish, all of my karma has been paid off. And so I think that's why I might be leaving. I don't think if I leave this planet, it won't be because I offed myself. I have no interest in doing that. And if I do leave, I won't be alone. It's very likely, if you're watching this, that you will go with me. Not necessarily with me, but you will go as well in this shift. And I am perfectly prepared if none of that happens. And I will be the first person to say, well, I guess that didn't happen. So, again, I'm working really hard not to have any ego about any of this, positive or negative. And anyway, so we will find out. But no matter what happens, it seems very clear that we have shifted. The shift has begun. We have moved into a new direction, and it only makes sense that there's going to be some kind of culmination event. Because again, the ETs told me that there's going to be a series of solar waves, and they've been coming ever since December of 2022. That's when they first started. And they've been pounding the earth ever since. So I think there's going to be a final solar event, which we think of as the flash. And I think we'll all see it. And I think it will change everything. And I think it very well might be coming extremely soon, perhaps within the next few days. Now, on October 6th, there's going to be a comet, which I've heard different estimates of, its orbit. The first estimate I heard is that it passes by Earth every 26,000 years. If that's true, then that would be the 26,000 year Yuga cycle, and it would be like the bell tone, the alarm says, okay, that one's done, now a new one. So I think it's very significant, if that's true. And I saw in a dream just before I woke up a couple weeks ago. As I was waking up, I saw a calendar with the day October 6th. That's all I saw, October 6th. And I woke up going, October 6th? I didn't get any message. There's no feeling associated with it. So I'm not telling you that I saw and they told me. No, nobody. It was just, I saw that waking up one morning. But I'm not saying that I have any other evidence to mean that it could be anything other than my brain doing what it does, just farting out things as when you dream. Lots of times your brain is just farting stuff out. Could have just been doing that. But nevertheless, I'm interested to see what happens on October 6th. That's when this comet is going to go directly between the Earth and the Sun. And that's a significant placement. It means it's conjuncting with the Sun. So maybe that means something, maybe not. But all I know is how I'm feeling. So here's what I do with these kinds of experiences. I take them at face value. I believe that I am choosing to accept the messages at face value, which is, we're coming for you soon. The messages at face value, which are, we're coming for you very soon. That this isn't the message I got, this is a message other people have been getting, that everyone's going to see this coming and not to have any fear. Drop everything, stop worrying about everything. My suggestion to everybody is just drop any attachments to money, prestige, reputation, job security, fitting into society, worried about debt. I would suggest to just, at least for the time being, just drop all of that. Just drop it. Whatever you're doing, if you are going to school, you got a job, fine. Keep doing that. But just don't make any plans, don't worry about anything. At least for a little while. Wait and see what happens. Because I think all of that stuff is going to go away very soon. And I think one of the first things that's going to happen. Now the question is whether or not I'm going to be here to watch it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. If the theory that there's going to be 3 different Earth frequencies is accurate, I think it's possible that some people very soon are going to leave this middle version of Earth and shift up to a higher one. And then I think if that's the case, which I don't need it to be, but if that's the case, then I think what's going to happen for those that stay in this middle realm is that the truth of all of the lies and the manipulation and the enslavement of the Earth by the dark force elite are going to be made clear, that people will see, that everybody on the planet will see what they have been doing, and it will be unmistakable, and that will create an awakening for people, the whole Earth to want to walk away from the whole structure, money, governments, wars, all that stuff. That all that stuff is going to come crashing down. The whole idea, this world is built on making money for the companies and corporations. That's all going to come crashing down. And then if there is a 3-tiered world, that would make sense that those who are holding on to that will get pulled down into like a 1984, the George Orwell book, where it'll just be monitored enslavement, which is what they're trying to do. I mean, the stuff that's going on right now is blowing my mind. Absolutely blowing my mind. They're not even trying to hide anymore. They're not even trying to hide what they're doing. So, I mean, it's going to come out. Everything's going to come out if it hasn't already. If the 3-tiered Earth reality is not a literal understanding, then we will be here. We will shift. And we will see this happening. I have an idea of what the post-flash experience will be like, because I was told back in 2022 They said, we're going to come for you tomorrow and we're going to take you to 5D. Now, I thought they meant I was going to be pulled out of this world. But what ended up happening was that next day I got hit with a very powerful energy, and I was, for a good chunk of the day, I was just in a whole completely different reality. Even though I was walking around, everything was still the same, but I was in a completely different place. I was filled with such bliss and joy and feeling of connectedness to everything. It felt like I was just super high on mushrooms or something. But it was, they had shifted up my frequency. And, I got one other time when I asked, later on I got shifted back up. So I know at the very least, that is what 5D will be. That people, when this event hits, and it might be coming now because the level of energy I'm feeling this ever since the eclipse has been pretty powerful. But I think that's where people will be, and at that frequency, it's very hard to worry, to get angry or to be hurtful or manipulative, or it's very hard to do that. It's not impossible. When I was in that, I was able to modulate it. If I chose to, I could really let it pull me up into a very high frequency state. And if I chose to focus on 3D things, I could pull myself back down. And so I think people will have control over how high in the frequency they choose to go. And again, the question is, will we all be here, or is there going to be a thing where, one day people are going to go, where did all those people go? What happened to them? In any case, that's my solar flash update for this week. I just, I think time is running out. I think we're almost done. So, we will see, and I'm okay no matter what happens. I don't need to be right about any of this. But I'm going to prepare myself for the best. I'm going to prepare myself that if and when this thing comes, at least it wasn't a surprise and I saw it coming. But there's no way that there isn't going to be a huge shift after this eclipse. There's no way. This is the beginning of the shift. Everything's going to change from here on out. Well, so that's it. So got a few more days at least, so you'll probably see me until then. Perhaps we'll talk again on the 7th of October, and maybe we'll have a different understanding of what's going on. Or maybe we'll be in a completely different place, and we'll be riding our unicorns, mentally, telepathically communicating with each other. Whatever the case is, I look forward to seeing you very soon. Please take extremely good care of yourselves.